Welcome back to the Rowdy Red Zone, a show all about PTHS sports. I am Skylar Gaudio.
And I'm Gabe Adcock. Today, we will be featuring the Peters Township winter sports through packages that our Period 2 TV sports production class created over these past few weeks. To get the ball rolling, let's start off with the bocce team. Coming off winning the state championship in their first season, they aim to return this year.
The Peters Township bocce team is entering their second season this year, and they've already made a name for themselves, winning state championships in their first year. Coached by Mark Setchkar, they're looking to defend themselves this year and go back-to-back.
The reason why I wanted to start playing is because not only did they go to states last year, but I love all the kids on the team. I've grew so close with all of them, and I want to get them back to that states feeling. And I'm so excited for the season. The team is looking great. Everyone treats each other so nicely, and practice is always fun, and we're doing super good.
Their first game and first home game of the season will be on January 8th, 2025 at 3:15 p.m. versus Upper St. Clair. And their final game will be on February 10th, 2025 at 3:15 p.m. versus Montour.
Thanks, Sam. Don't forget, the bocce whiteout game is next week at home. Hope you picked up your t-shirt so that you can cheer on the team next Wednesday.
The boys wrestling team was busy over the winter break. They competed at Wheeling Park and even pulled out an impressive third-place finish at the Tri-Cata tournament at West Green High School over the weekend. Gabe went over to catch up with the team to see what they have in store.
The Peters Township High School boys wrestling team continues to make waves this season, showcasing exceptional talent and determination on the mat. Led by Coach Derek, the team has delivered impressive performances by key victories in their matches and standout individual achievements.
So my favorite part of wrestling has got to be the social aspect of it, like the team aspect. There's some really good guys on the team. We have a lot of fun during the practices and all. And during a match, when guys are going out there and they're winning our matches and all the rest of the team is out on the side, hyping them up, yelling, getting excited, cheering these guys on. It's a great feeling to have that going through an entire match, dominating another team, coming out on top like that.
The Indians show resilience, earning recognition both locally and beyond. As the season progresses, PT remains focused on their ultimate goal, success in the postseason.
The boys head out to the Midwinter Mayhem tournament this weekend. Next week, the boys will head over to the crosstown rival Cannon Mac to hit the mat on Wednesday. Good luck, boys.
The boys basketball team is starting off strong with an 8-3 record overall and a 2-1 record within the conference. The boys are facing a very, very busy January with the conference schedule games here and around South Hills. Carter Helbig went out to cover the boys team this fall.
Main adversities that we're kind of overcoming and getting through right now, obviously we've had some injury issues. We've had guys not being there for injury purposes, or we didn't, the football team had a great season, so we're incorporating guys after the season's already started. So getting guys going and getting guys incorporated as we move forward, that's always tough on a program, tough on your culture. So it's been tough to work through those things, but I think guys are doing an awesome job. Coaches are doing a great job of getting all that together, and we're really kind of starting to click at the moment, coming out of a couple tough losses over Christmas break. Really like the way we played at Trinity, and hopefully tonight against South Fayette continues that.
Thanks, Carter. The boys face off at Ringgold tonight, then head back here next Saturday to face off against Bethel Park. Good luck, guys.
The Peters Township Hockey Program is a club-based team consisting of over 200 players from pre-K to high school. They have won multiple section, Penguin Cups, and Pennsylvania champion titles. They play in the PA Interscholastic Hockey League and are by far one of the biggest and most successful teams in Pennsylvania, with alumni gone to play in the NHL, NCAA, Division I, Juniors, and ACHA College. Avery Lucas had the chance to visit with the team firsthand. The Peters Township hockey team currently has a record of 3 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. The boys are hoping to get more wins as they are training for the playoff season.
Based off of our performance off of number 1 ranked team Mount Lebanon with a close 1-0 loss, I think that we have an opportunity to play better later in the season against other teams like South Fayette. And then for section games, depending on whether or not we make playoffs, I feel like if we were to get into playoffs, we would be a highly competitive team. But for now, we're just going to, keep working hard, keep improving, and then, look to improve later in the season.
The Peters Township hockey program consists of over 200 players from pre-K to high school. They have won multiple section, Penguin Cups, and Pennsylvania State Championship titles. They play in the PA Interscholastic Hockey League, PIHL, and are by far one of the biggest and most successful teams in Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Avery. With a current record of 3-7-1, this hockey season, the boys are anticipating more wins as they are training in hopes to make the playoffs. Another club-based sport in PT with multiple national titles is none other than the Peters Township dance team. Let's take a look as they are approaching nationals in February and hoping to defend their championship title for the 4th year in a row.
The Peters Township Dance Team is one team of much success here at PTHS. This year, the team is led by senior captains Emma Bell, Eva Sabroni, and Samantha Perrick.
This year, one of our biggest challenges was how new our team is. We actually welcomed 10 new girls onto the team, which is more people than we actually have returning back to the team. So it was a little bit difficult at the beginning to start getting everybody along and working as a team together. But right now we are doing really good of all being best friends and working hard together.
The girls are 5-time national champions in the hip-hop category at the NDTC competition held in Orlando, Florida during February. Throughout the season, the girls practice hard 3 to 6 times a week and compete at regional competitions around the East Coast. So far this season, the team has gone home with first-place wins in each of their competitions. Wish the girls luck as they finish out their season.
The dance team has 5 seniors and are planning a defense of their national title in Orlando. Emma, how has the team been preparing for the season?
So this season, we've really just been focusing on getting a routine together so far. We're prepping by going to regional competitions around the East Coast and stuff. So we have one coming up this weekend, and it's our last competition before nationals, so we can get some more feedback from judges and make our routine the best it can be possible.
And how is your team planning to defend the national title?
So we really are just working harder than we ever have in the past few years. We have 10 new girls on our team, so in the process of fixing our routine, we also have to teach those girls what it's like to be on the team and what our team is all about and the values that we follow and how we practice.
What type of leadership positions do the seniors have within the team?
The seniors are really there to be huge role models for everybody. It's like every year on the team, the seniors and the captains pass down a value to the next seniors and captains, and from there on, like, the legacy just continues and everyone just has a little bit of the prior year in them.
And after your landslide win at nationals last year, how did you guys update your routine for this year?
Our biggest thing is really never getting comfortable. We don't want to ever think that we're the best ever, because obviously we aren't, but we just stay humble and we stay hungry, and we just continue to listen to people's suggestions and update our routine to make it the best it possibly can be.
And with the incoming freshmen every year, how do the seniors help mentor them?
We really just try to make them our best friends, just like everybody else on the team. We value friendships a lot and just having a good bond all together, and that's really important to us to be able to work together as a team.
How do you guys select the music for all of your dances?
So at the beginning of the year, before our choreography, we get together and we pick a sort of theme that we want to follow for that year, and then we go through and find music that we think fits that theme and then send it off to our choreographer.
What type of team values help drive you through the season?
Our biggest value is definitely teamwork and not getting comfortable. Because when you get comfortable, then you start to relax, and then there's no going up from there. You're at a stagnant position. So we really strive to be better at every practice than we were the last one, be better at every competition than we were the last one, so that we can be our best.
So you've been on the team since you were freshmen, so how has it changed since then to now?
I think the only thing that has really changed is the people on the team. We've kept those values that we've had all those years, the things that I've learned since I was a freshman from the older girls, and our coach really, she has her method down to like perfect. Like the things she can come up with, the way that she coaches us, it just works every time. So we put our trust in her and she trusts us, and that's how it works out.
My last question would be, how does your routine change from beginning to end of the season?
So if you watch a video from getting our choreography to competing at nationals, it won't even be the same dance. We take suggestions from like our judges, from competitions, from other coaches, from other dance teams around us, just from literally everyone that we can get to have their eyes on our routine. And we take their suggestions, we take ideas that our coach has in mind, and we make them into a reality to fix our routine so that it can be the best it possibly can for nationals.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you. Speaking of success, the girls volleyball team had a successful season on and off the court. Emma had the opportunity to visit the team during their Strike Out for Childhood Cancer fundraiser.
While the team was working hard at overcoming challenges through their season, they took on raising awareness for an important cause too. The girls participated in the Spike Out for Childhood Cancer fundraiser.
The girls volleyball team raised money for childhood cancer by putting signs in people's yards, and we called this spiking. We did it all around the district, and we also had a game where we gave out t-shirts, and it was a blackout game for the research.
For $20, the team decorated yards of friends and family members with childhood cancer ribbon signs. They also offered spike-free insurance for $40 to prevent your yard from being spiked. After raising money and collecting donations, the money was given to UPMC Children's Hospital to help fund childhood cancer research.
It's always great to see our student teams give back to the local community. I'm certain that the families and local charities really appreciate the connections back. There's nothing better than getting together and helping out.
Wow, and just like that, we've made it to the end. Thank you for joining us for this segment of Rowdy Red Zone and taking a look into Peters Township winter sports.
But wait, we're not quite done yet. Stick around as we are going to hand it over to Jack and Joey in their overtime session. Well, they will be talking about what's going on with current sports at the collegiate and professional levels.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for Overtime. I'm Jack Sikowski.
And I'm Joe Sprigel. Let's go down to the Sunshine State at Hard Rock Stadium. The Indian Fighting Irish took on the Nittany Lions in the Capital One Orange Bowl for a shot at the national championship game.
Penn State was coming in with 13-2 with a home playoff win against the Fiesta Bowl, Boise State, and Notre Dame was coming in versus Indiana in a Sugar Bowl win versus Georgia. Both teams have not won a national championship since the 80s. Joe, Notre Dame obviously won last night. What are your thoughts on the game?
I think it was very frustrating for Penn State. It's kind of like watching the Steelers. It's like how you feel like watching the Steelers. We'll get that too later. It was so close. It was right there. Like they're like 5 yards away. Not 5 yards away. They had to go down the field. They just make mistakes. They can't win the big one. Notre Dame, they're going. They might not win the national championship, but at least they'll be there. I just want to go to a national championship and say we've gone, and I can't even get that. I've been watching this team since 2017, every single week, waking up every Saturday, and I can't see them win. And it's frustrating. We know we beat the Bowling Greens, we beat the Purdue's, but we can't beat the Notre Dames, the High States, And I think, something needs to change. But I will not blame this on Aller, like the rest of the people are telling me that I need to blame it on Aller, because this isn't clearly not Aller's fault. He doesn't have any receivers. Receivers had 0 receptions. 0. And he's playing JV. He's playing with JV wide receivers. He can only throw to Tyler Warren. I think next year he's going to come back. He's going to come back next year. He's going to win the Heisman. I'm calling it right now.
I think the Heisman's pretty bold, Joe. Drew Aller made a great case last night on why he's not going to be QB1 in any draft that he goes into, because he's obviously staying at Penn State this year, like this upcoming season. But he's not going to have Tyler Warren. He's not. That's his favorite weapon. That's his favorite thing to use. I don't know how good Penn State's going to be next year if they're not just throwing 15-yard open passes to Tyler Warren, Joe. Against Bowling Green, of all people.
I mean, they'll have other receivers. They'll have the 2 transfers, one from USC, one from Troy. They'll have Luke Reynolds, the 5-star, who's going to replace Tyler Warren. The defense is going to be just as good as next year. We got recruits coming in. Singleton or Allen, they just have to stay for just get more weapons to Aller, because their run game is honestly really fire. And if they can actually keep a nice run game next year, I think they could come back and actually win one.
You win one as in a national championship next year?
The big one.
The big one.
Uh-huh.
The granddaddy of them all, as some might say.
No, that's the Rose Bowl.
Oh, my bad. I don't know my Bulls. Speaking of the Rose Bowl, tonight we have the Goodyear. That's a lie. We have the Cotton Bowl tonight. The Ohio State Buckeyes of the Big Ten versus the Texas Longhorns of the SEC. OSU comes in at 12-2 with a home win and a win at the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, Joe, versus the undefeated Oregon Ducks.
Texas comes in almost disappointing with 2 losses to Georgia in the regular season and 1 in the SEC championship. They come in with a home win versus Clemson and a Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl versus Arizona State. Both games they barely scraped by, and they have an uphill battle today. My predictions for the game are OSU wins, but very short. I don't think you can get below 2 teams in a row that are top 5. So I got to say, OSU is the national championship. They'll take on Notre Dame. I just think you can't stop Jeremiah Smith. The kid actually was walking by a park actually the other day, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I Jeremiah Smith do," instead of I Randy Moss do. Crazy thing the kids are saying, So I just think you can't stop them. You also got Quentin Junkins and Travion Henderson, just as a killer running back duo as Penn State. Texas also hasn't looked very good. They could upset Ohio State, but that's very hard to do when they're that locked in. What are your thoughts, Jack?
I'm going to have to agree with you here. I think Ohio State is just so put together this year. I think, and even Texas with their 2 losses against Georgia, Georgia got beaten by Notre Dame. You can't lose to a team that lost to Notre Dame. So it's just and losing twice at that matter too. The Texas just has not been locked in this postseason really. They've been getting their short wins, their close wins against every team they've played in the playoffs. So I think OSU by a little bit is going to take them to the Natty, but I think Notre Dame can pull through and win their first since the 80s.
Well, I think you're wrong about the Notre Dame part. You just can't stop. You can't stop Ohio State. They're on the roll. Notre Dame, I think they looked very pedestrian against Penn State. They had a terrible first half, which is something you can't do. Obviously, Penn State only could put 10 points on that Notre Dame team, but if you're a team like Ohio State who's just quick and will, in a blink of an eye, put 24 on you, I think you just can't start slow like that. Also, the fact that Ohio State can play a complete game the whole way over. That's just not something Notre Dame needs to bring against Ohio State. It's going to be, I think, obviously stuff will happen. I went in that game thinking Penn State was going to run over Notre Dame the whole time, and honestly, it didn't happen. So who knows what's going to happen, but I just have to stick with my gut saying the Ohio State Buckeyes.
He's a big Buckeyes fan, everyone.
No, I'm not.
So now we're going to shift over to the NFL season. It has wrapped up, and we are approaching the wild card weekend tomorrow. My Pittsburgh Steelers are playing versus the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to have matchups on Sunday too, I believe the Broncos against
Bills.
The Bills, and then the Texans and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, how do you think the AFC is going to shape out this season?
It's I think definitely very two equal conferences this year. So I couldn't even tell you. Obviously, like you say, obviously the AFC is better, the NFC is better. But on terms of the AFC side, I just really can't say the Chiefs are going to win. They
agree.
Are like 5 inches away from going like 7 and 7 and 10. So I don't think maybe their devil magic will keep going and they'll make another Super Bowl again, or their luck will finally run out. But in terms of the wild card matches, I'm only looking at one match in particular, and that's the Bills versus the Broncos.
That's a shocker.
I think the Broncos will upset the Bills like they did last year. Sean Payton, he's like 30-12 against bald coaches, and the Bills have a bald coach, so stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie.
And Bo Nix, he's never lost a game in Buffalo. He's never lost a playoff game. He's never been upset in the wild card round. I think Bo Nix is gonna lead them to another Super Bowl, a fourth one, I might say.
You think you're gonna take the Bills in the Broncos in the Super Bowl this year?
I guess I am.
You're telling me rookie Bo Nix is gonna take him there. 10-7 Bo Nix.
Week 18 MVP as a Nickelodeon volleyball player is gonna lead them to the promised land.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, Joe. I think the Steelers had they were messing around this season. Those last 4 games, they were just for fun. So I think the Steelers, they're going to lock in. They've won the Super Bowl from the 6th seed before. They're going to do it again. I'd rather any team in the AFC to take for a wild card game. I take the Ravens because they're the ones, no matter who shows up where, it's always going to be a 50-50 matchup between the two. They both know each other. They both play each other time and time again. And, I just think Steelers, Russell Wilson, he's going to get his 2nd Super Bowl, appear in his 3rd. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for the Steelers this year. They're going to show up. It's just going to be great. It's going to be a great end of the season. I'm telling you.
Well, I think
maybe I'm delusional.
I think you
are.
Maybe I'm not. I think you are delusional because, the Steelers have Russell Wilson who, he's like, 30-yard moon ball to George Pickens. And then he's going to sit in the pocket for 20 seconds and take a sack. So, and then you have Mike Tomlin who's going to be like, at least we made the playoffs, and he's like, your favorite team probably didn't make the playoffs, and then he's like, same thing next year, he's gonna draft like another defensive lineman, and then they're gonna go, they're gonna get the 9-8 winning season, and they're gonna go back to the wild card. It's the same thing we saw the rest of the year.
All right, so
how
first
am I
off,
supposed to believe this year is any different? Because why? Because why?
So first off, Russell Wilson would never throw to George Pickens. All right, they don't throw the ball to him, so you're wrong there. Second off, they're gonna utilize Justin Fields a lot more in this playoffs, and that's gonna be their secret weapon. They're gonna do more of those designed runs with Justin Fields. They're not gonna be able to handle it. I'm just telling you. Tomlin, there's so much Tomlin slander. Everyone's like, "Oh, fire Tomlin, trade him." He's not what's missing. All right, the team has just got to all show up to play. That's what's happening. You have either the offense or the defense doesn't show up to play, and that's what loses the Steelers games. And your freaking Denver Broncos, dude, they're not really that good. You can go 34-0 against the Chiefs team that isn't trying for the sole purpose of not getting the Bengals in the playoffs. But I don't know. Maybe the Broncos have a chance this year.
I mean, they counted us out like this whole year. They said we were going 3-14. We'd be the first round pick. Bo Nix was getting traded the first time. He's gonna
get traded. He's gonna get traded in 4 years.
Whatever. Let's go to the other side of the bracket. How about that? The NFC. I think we can be pretty short on this because I think we both agree that the Commanders, formerly the Washington football team, are going to the Super Bowl, and we're gonna see a Bo Nix versus Jaden Daniels matchup of the decade.
I'm not gonna agree with that. Those Lions, man. They're just so good this year. 2 losses, 15 wins, something like that. I don't know how many games they play.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they're gonna play the Steelers in the Super Bowl. They're gonna fall short, but maybe next year.
But like, the Lions are the Lions, so like, you know.
Exactly, because they're going to lose in the Super Bowl. The Lions are the Lions.
I don't even think they're going to make it, honestly. It'd be funny if they didn't, but all right.
Well,
next we got the Winter Classic, wrapped up with a 6-2 win by the St. Louis Blues against Connor Bedard's Chicago Blackhawks. The game was played at Wrigley Field. Unfortunately, had the lowest rating since its start back in like 2010. Why do you think this is, Jack?
You know, I think, you know, there's a lot going on. I think you had some college football playoffs, you had some important NFL games going on around that time. People just weren't really paying much attention to hockey. You know, it's the Winter Classic, but if you have two teams going at it, two crappy teams, no one's going to watch it. And, you know, I wasn't watching it. I was watching the Fiesta Bowl. I think you were watching the Fiesta Bowl, too.
I was at the Fiesta Bowl.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, maybe some people were preparing. You know, it was LeBron James's birthday, so, you know, maybe people were just getting ready for that.
Yeah, maybe. But you also the two teams just like are kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't think I can name like an actual like superstar that the St. Louis Blues have, and it was kind of crazy because they're at like 5 years out of like a Stanley Cup, and the Blackhawks they do have Connor Bedard. He's like the next Sidney Crosby. So I don't understand why they put him in the Winter Classic because people want to see him, but you put him against Sidney Crosby. Put up the Crosby versus the Connor Bedard matchup. That's what people want to see. But instead, we see the St. Louis Blues, who the only thing they have good about them is that they have like a Jordan Bennington, who I only know because he's a goalie who likes to hit people.
Yeah, I'm not a big hockey guy, so I wouldn't know. That's going to end our Rowdy Red Zone overtime segment. I'm Jack Sikowski.
And I'm Joe Sprigel. Thanks for watching. Happy birthday.